So here we are on the edge of it all, and what's to be said of the land of the brave and the free? What's to be said of any sense left of our integrity? I tell you all, there's nothing more patriotic American than standing on your own and looking out for the little guy. Providing food and shelter, health care and education is simply an essential combination of investments made in future generations to maintain a society who is worth maintaining. Yeah, and I can already hear those with a reactive brains yell out socialism, communism, but there's nothing about making sure people are fed and cared for and given an opportunity to be a contributing member of society that isn't more about community than anything else. I tell you all, there's nothing more patriotic American than standing on your own and looking out for the little guy. Anyhow, a bit of maturity will go a long way these days. Being true and honest is novel and rare, and it's low bar the country wrestles with its wretched demise. When I grew up late in the 50s through the 60s, we pledged allegiance to the flag wherever we lived in the world. If enrolled in American school, we would turn to the red, white, and blue and hand over hearts, pledge allegiance to America like good little troopers raised military, knowing the cost and the sacrifice that freedom took to maintain. But America, it's not the United States. In many ways, it never really existed except inside this young boy who has since grown to a heartbroken man. I was an apologist for Nixon naivety because of freakishly excellent parents. We were taught by their example and unrealistic generalized respect for our elders in general, so far as in teaching us the realities of life. As I never heard them raise their voices or curse in my presence, that's still up for debate, LOL. However, we were told in foreign ports and on our own street, if in trouble, run to the nearest adult. In an era of stranger danger, in a culture that glorifies sex and children, who would dare do that today? So obviously, when the President of the United States said he wasn't a crook, I believed him. That was until I watched him on Frost TV say that he was above the law. Then I wanted him skinned and packed in salt, and I wanted my pound of flesh back, and neither was forthcoming. The quintessential type of people thought as true American, a twofold and a hardy crew who about their personal freedom and their rare independence to follow their dreams, so long as they do not infringe on freedoms of others. And this is unprecedented in history. But what makes it truly American is the second half of our social contract. It is the humanity that is the responsibility of the open market. That is the truth we behold to be self-evident. As one creates wealth, one does so through contribution to the culture who supports you. And most importantly, we do that by as we rise, we look out for the little guy. I tell you all, there's nothing more patriotic American than standing on your own and looking out for the little guy. The best of America has always done so gladly that consideration is quite literally what makes America great. If you really want to make America great again, find our soul, love your neighbor, find your Christian values you long ago gave up for dogma and profit with lazy language. Snap to a higher focus, listen again with your heart, find real truth and not these alternative facts, and follow God, not some golden calf. Be real, just be real, and everything will come clear. Then make penance for your own Christ's sake, for consciously you're not causing this hell on earth, and by expressing your lesser nature's doing your small part in bringing us here. I greatly blame my own generation because we know better, and those who sold souls to be in power should have aborted this sick circus at its very inception. Look, the aging baby boomers, rise of obvious dulled and self-centered creatures wallowing in their own immorality, unapologetically greedy with such overcompensating consistency, consuming these yuppie morons who now rule the world so cynically. No, really, look, the aging baby boomers, rise of obvious dulled and self-centered creatures wallowing in their own immorality, unapologetically greedy with such overcompensating consistency, consuming these yuppie morons who now rule the world so cynically. Whether it's a matter of fashion or complacency or selfish laziness, now it's a matter of national policy. We have forgotten our second most important responsibility of our collectively being an American. There's no free lunch and no pie in the sky, but we uphold our right to our personal freedom as we look out for the little guy. But no, it ain't so. Instead, we're left with hoarders, ruled by desperate greed, and no humanity to temper their decisions and no option to fulfill their needs. We see this in its garish practice, in full force in the streets today. In this horrible administration, it's brazen praise and worship, oh mammon and evil and meanness.